as the host, but you haven't had success in the Sydney Derby for a little bit now. How eager are you to get on the field and hopefully get one back over the Swans?
Yeah, we're all very eager. They've had the wood over us for the last couple of years, so we've been disappointed with that. We'll go to work on addressing those reasons. Unfortunately, the last couple of times we didn't learn our lessons from the previous game. So, yeah, we'll look to bring that on game day and start, providing some actions on game day.
Are there any specific reasons, without going into sort of strategy and game detail, that you can kind of pinpoint for why they've had that sort of streak of play?
Yeah, probably just touching on it briefly would be largely around contest. I think they've prided on that for a long time, themselves on that for a long time. So they've probably gotten us in that, I reckon, especially earlier in the year. So that's probably one thing, especially they're always, high pressure, high energy contests. So, largely gets done in the contest, you've got to win the ball and get that territory battle going your way. So that'll be probably a big focus. And then, we'll look to just bring our game aside from that as well.
Clearly, that's something that you guys pride yourself on as a team. And it's been really good over the sort of last 6-7 weeks as you guys have bounced back. But clearly, there's the Giants that need to be at a really good level.
Yeah, it's always a good contest against the Giants, and everyone looks forward to it every year. And just something that we pride ourselves on is that contest and being able to create that energy that most of our players all bring. And it's something that we've definitely worked on the past few weeks. Obviously, it wasn't the start of the season that we wanted to, but we bounced back by bringing that contest and that energy to our game.
Braeden, I guess coming into this game, how much is it playing in your mind that if you guys lose this, you might not be able to make finals, probably won't be able to make finals?
Yeah, it's been that story for about 4 weeks now, so I think we're all used to it. But yeah, we've worked really hard the past few weeks, and we're just taking it week by week. It's cliche to say, but that's actually what we're doing at the moment. It's just week by week, and to us, this game is, it's big. It's a rivalry, but it's always a must-win game. Every game for the rest of the season is a must-win for us. So everyone understands that, and everyone's been working really hard the past few weeks.
Jack, is that a bit of an added bonus, and you can maybe shut the door on them a little bit as well as we?
Oh, not really. I think, like Braeden said, they've got to worry about, where they finish, and we've got to worry about ourselves too. So we're playing to make finals. We know what's ahead of us too. So, like he said, the rivalry's great, and it's going to be a great game in that sense. But, it's another game of our season that we've got I think a 5-6 week block now where every game's going to matter and be really important in terms of setting ourselves up for the rest of the season. So, there's not going to be too much chat about that. We'll worry about ourselves and try to bring our best game.
Well, you're in a bit of a run with the team, obviously. How good a form are you taking into this game compared to the last start?
Yeah, better than the early one, but it doesn't really matter where you're at. I think that showed early in the season where the Swans might have been in a bad run of form. We were probably similar as well, and they came out and rolled us. So, it's sort of a bit irrelevant in these games where momentum or form lies, but we're really pleased with our last month or 4 or 5 weeks. Beating some good teams in there, so we need to make sure we carry that momentum, especially because, everyone's seeing the sort of top 10 teams at the moment just keep winning, so you've got to keep the foot down as long as you can.
Both of you being local boys, how much have you actually enjoyed this game now becoming its own sort of standalone spectacle in a lot of ways and quite a big sporting event in Sydney's landscape?
Yeah, obviously being from Sydney, it's something that I always watched as a kid and always dreamt of playing, and it's just a massive week for the club, and both clubs really look forward to it. All the players do, all the fans do, and from my own perspective, it's something that I've always wanted to do is play these derbies, and it's something that I always look forward to every year.
Yeah, I'll just echo the same thing on that. Growing up, and you see, I remember that final. I think it might have been 2016. That was an awesome game. We were lucky enough to win that game. I was just a kid then watching, but just the energy and rivalry in that contest, I think, it's really spilled in every game since. So I think it's one that the footy world's sort of starting to catch on to, and the more people that watch, the more people see how good a contest it usually is.
Braeden, you are obviously in the Swans Academy for a while. We're playing at Pennant Hills, which is kind of right on that border between the two teams, and you were playing in the juniors at that age when the Giants were growing and having all that success. What was it like sort of being part of the Swans Academy, but also seeing what the Giants were doing in the area and kind of going, I really sort of appreciate and respect for wanting to make sure that the Swans stayed on top as well.
Yeah, it was weird growing up when you've got half your junior team playing for the Giants Academy and half playing for the Swans Academy. So it was weird growing up, but you obviously make great mates like Briggsy is someone I played with as a junior, and it's nice to play against him this week. And yeah, it's good.
Guys, I guess to both of you, the derby's always played, hard fought, but with a lot of respect as well. Normally we're looking for some kind of tongue-in-cheek jab in the build-up to these games, but is it okay that it's become the friendly derby of the AFL?
Yeah, well, you probably got the wrong bloke up here if you want to sort of jab. I think I won't throw any names under the bus, but some blokes like to get up here and say a few things, but you won't get that today. I just sort of let the game do the talking. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say the contests are friendly, but off the field, you bump into each other. So there's definitely relationships off the field a little bit, and but I think everyone prides themselves that when they walk over the white line, it's going to be a hot contest, and we all love that. I think that makes everyone better. If you want to be an AFL footballer, you got to really thrive in those environments, and I think everyone does on both teams.
So I guess one of those guys who might be back, who might be one to have a few points is Slammer. He's been out for a month or so with that toe, but to get him back, the competitor he is, how important is he going to be, not only for this game, but that run home?
Yeah, it's awesome. He's looking like he's going to be back this week, which will give all of us a boost, especially the back line. We love playing with him. He's a great mate of mine, so every time we run out there with him, it's a lot of fun. So, I mean, he sort of speaks for himself in his play. He's probably the best, in my opinion, the best key defender in the comp. So, getting that back's obviously going to be great for the team. But, I think we've shown that we've covered pretty well over the year as well. So, there's a lot of competition for spots. So, someone will be pretty stiff to miss out in that. And, I think that's great for everyone. But we're going to really enjoy having him back.
Braeden, just on the nature of these games, obviously, when it comes to the derby, you guys are taking down each other, but between the two clubs, is there a sense of, I guess, being united in terms of Sydney taking on the AFL? Yeah,
it's always a bit like that. It's always, these two clubs are massive for the game, massive for the growth in Sydney. So in that aspect, I say us as one, but on the weekend, it'll definitely be two teams going at it, as it always is in these derbies. And as I said before, it's a massive contest, massive excitement in Sydney when these derbies come around, and everyone should be really excited for what's to come.
No sledges for the Giants?
Pardon?
No sledges for the Giants?
You've probably got the wrong bloke up here as well. I'm probably not one to throw any punches, but
You straight bats.
just a few straight bats here.
Who invited you two? But is there a bit of jealousy from the Giants sometimes, seeing that the Swans pack out the stadium week in, week out, get more headlines possibly?
Oh, not really, to be honest. I think one thing I really like is the sort of community you create with your fans at the Giants. Everyone will acknowledge we might not have the amount of fans that some other clubs have, but the connection you have with those fans is pretty special. You see a lot of similar faces all the time, and you're able to get on a bit of a name basis with a lot of the sort of foundation members and people like that, and then also going to clinics and going to schools. You see the growth. I mean, when I first got to the club, there weren't many, and now people know players' names and people would be wearing Giants merch, and you come out to games and you just see kids. So that'll pay dividends down the road, whether it's 10, 20 years, but you'll see a lot of growth through those kids, but also, a lot of adults who are coming to the games. I think it's getting louder and louder. I think Friday night, when we have the home derby, it's usually close to a sellout, and the atmosphere is awesome at NG, whether it's 15, 20,000 or a sellout. So, yeah, we're really looking forward to another great atmosphere Friday night.
You mentioned the big teams you've been in recently, but is there something in the way you're playing that gives you confidence this weekend?
Yeah, there is, and there's also a lot to work on too. I don't think we're hit our best form yet, but even though the results are going our way, so I mean, yeah, you take a lot of confidence, but then as Braeden would know, you're sort of reviewing a lot of stuff you can improve on each week, regardless of win or loss. So you sort of can't get too hung up on results in this league. Otherwise, I might come back to bite you. So Kings does a pretty good job at keeping us level and focusing on what we need to work on.
Braeden, obviously in the last few weeks we've seen you play a bit more like a high pressure role and some of those damaging sort of halfback focus ball position. Clearly the Giants got two really good ones in Lockie Whitfield and Lockie Ash. Are you looking forward to that change of maybe being deployed on one of those guys and seeing what you can do in a defensive role there?
Yeah, it's that obviously two really good players in great form at the moment. So I'm sure we'll have a look at them and see how we can make an impact to them. And we haven't really looked at what the team's going to do this far, being so far out from the game. But I'm sure we'll do something to try and try and take them out of the game as much as we can. And as I said before, they're two great players in good form, so I have to respect them and what they can do.
And just obviously on the news last night that the Swans squad members were Andrew has been something for an incident in the VFL last weekend. I guess as a teammate, you must have probably been disappointed to hear that, but looking forward to seeing kind of how he can bounce back and what he does to kind of make up for the incident.
Yeah, it was obviously not great what he said, and the club doesn't condone what he said, and we don't stand for that. But at the same time, he's a young player and he's made a mistake, so we'll take as much care as we can for him and make sure he's okay. But he does understand what he says was wrong, and the club doesn't stand for it.
But just on that as well, we obviously saw our West Coast players suspended a couple of weeks ago for an incident, similar incident during the Giants game. Do you think there's anything more the league we doing to kind of satisfy some player that there are enough steps being taken to stamp this sort of thing out of the game?
I think everyone probably acknowledges you can never do enough. There's probably always scope, but at the end of the day, it's on each individual to take pride in what they say on the field and how they make sure there's no exclusion in our game with what they say. So I wasn't sort of close by when that was said or anything, but I think the league's really taken a strong stance on it, which is good, and those people will really learn their lessons if anyone slips up, which is disappointing to see, but it's all about the response afterwards.
Braeden, Coxie indicated that perhaps might be in line for a return this week and that he'd be pushing. Firstly, how's he travelling? And secondly, happy would it be to have him back out there for a big game like this?
Yeah, it's obviously massive. If he can come back and play, he's a massive energy bundle when you get him, and he just lifts the whole team. So obviously we'd like him back, and from what I've seen at training, he's been really good, and I think he just has to get through training. At the moment, we'll find that out tomorrow, and it'll be awesome to have him back.
He always has plenty of energy. I imagine in a week like this, there'd be even more.
Yeah, of course. Everyone tries to bring their own energy this week, and because it is such a big week with this derby, and having him back will lift the whole team. Everyone, even the coaches on the bench, it just lifts everyone up and gets everyone up and about for it.
Hey Jack, I know you love the challenge of taking on the best, but is there a small part of you going, geez, why do we have to catch the Swans right now? They've seen the court fire, Isaac's on fire as well. You could have got them 6 weeks ago.
Oh, well, we're used to it. They're always pretty good. So whenever we play them, last year they were in hot form whenever we played them. So it's sort of nothing new. They've got great players. They're usually in great form. I think earlier in the season they probably had their challenges with injury, and now you're sort of seeing the best. And they're definitely, playing like a top team in the competition right now. So we're treating them as such. And yeah, like I said, we're used to it in terms of playing them at their best. So yeah, we sort of, you'd probably want it in a way. You want to see where you stack up against the best.
Could this also be the perfect sort of lead-in, given it's so close to either finish top four or maybe even tumble out of the eight? Section towards the back end could actually build you towards a deep run in September, depending how you handle it, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. This time of year you want to be playing the best teams, even though, you might be worried about ladder position, but, at the end of the day, it's the best way to sort of see where you're at, and the best, if you're going to make finals, it's the best rehearsal for finals to play against the best team. So, yeah, we certainly come in with that mindset and attitude, and, that's not going to change this year as it has in the last couple of years.
Is there anything different tactically as a defender when you play a team that's got momentum at all, almost like a nothing to lose attitude, and with their style, given where the Swans sit at the moment?
You're certainly always on red alert as a defender against the Swans and against good teams, because they can pull off kicks that some other teams can't, especially, you got users like, Braeden and Goulden and Blakey, who, their left foots can sort of pull off anything. So as a defender, you're always sort of worried about, those dangerous kicks. But yeah, not much changes really in terms of the way you prepare, and you want to keep that pretty consistent.
Stu, you mentioned Haynes before. What do you do to stop him, and also, unlike the final last year, stop him taking hangers over
Yeah, I can't avoid that one. I think, I'm pretty used to it, to be honest. I'd call myself the step ladder, so there's nothing new, and it pops up on KO every second as well. So yeah, I don't really care. But he's a phenomenal player. I think last week he had 5 and 30. So you know, you've always got to worry about the oppo's best player. I'm sure we'll have plans for that. I don't know what they are yet or if there will be. So, but at the end of the day, you know, the last year got a hold of us when it mattered the most. So you sort of can't really rectify that at this time of year. You got to sort of get back to those positions to make amends for that sort of stuff. But yeah, we'll obviously be taking him very seriously as we have in the past.
Braeden, just on the situation, I guess, you know, for you guys, you've been playing must-win footy for a little while now. Does it get easier, or does the feeling get easier knowing that it's must-win each week? Like, do you get used to it? And I guess, you know, with that in mind, how do you feel now that you've been ticking off these games? But I guess you've got to keep that rolling.
I wouldn't say it gets easier. If not, it probably gets harder, but you do understand what you have to do to get a win in each game. So you obviously feel nervous before every game, if not more, the closer you get to finals. So yeah, I wouldn't say it gets easier. I'd say that you definitely get used to the feeling, and that does help.